About the cups, you can also use them as a tip jar. 2, 6, 10, 14, 17. We're missing Delia. Alright. Somebody had a question? Beto. How old? 45.
Are you sure?
Yes. I feel every moment of the 45. Every freaking moment of the 45. Alright, let's take out last night's homework. Real quick, I want to make sure that we are getting better. The only thing anybody's writing with is one of the markers from the middle of the table. If I do, I don't need to know where that money came from. I know there's a lot about counterfeit money going on these days. So, okay. So, just so that we're super clear, second period apparently got confused. One, there's so many questions going on. You are marking the ones that you got right, and if you get something wrong, it's okay that you've made a mistake. Give yourself some feedback. Learn from this, please. Okay, so number 1, f prime equals e to the x squared times 2x. And if anybody got that wrong, I will personally humiliate you since we did this one in class, Eric. Okay, number 2, Jose up front. How would you read this question again? The original function. How would you read this?
G of x equals natural log of.
One more time.
Natural log of.
Of. As soon as we hear that word of, the derivative rule that comes to mind?
Chain rule.
Chain rule. Has to be chain rule. Natural log of chain rule. So natural log of stuff, 1 over stuff, times the derivative of the stuff is going to be e to the 3 plus x squared times 2x. Because when you say e to the power, what's the next word? Of chain rule. All right, number 9 is a product rule. The ax is the first of the products. The e to the bx is the second. So I could write this as a times e to the bx plus ax times e to the bx times b. If you got it wrong, fix it. That's fine. Okay, number 10, x times e to the power of cosine of x. What derivative rule, sir? X times e to the power of cosine of x.
Chain rule.
There's a chain rule. Where do you see chain rule, Kiara? Oh my goodness, I'm having flashbacks now. Great. Kiara was her class. Caleb, where do you see chain rule? E to the power of cosine of x. But there's another derivative rule here, isn't there, Nao? What's the other derivative rule that you see here in number 10? Not the big mama. X times e to the cosine of x. Product. Okay? It's a product. She already took chain rule. Okay? You're having one of those rare not with me moments. I'm sorry. All right, number 11. Cosine of e to the x plus e to the power of cosine of x. Chain rule, chain rule. Negative sine of e to the x times e to the x plus e to the cosine of x times negative sine of x. Okay? Number 12 is nasty. It is a nasty mother of a question, and we started this one right before you guys left yesterday. Square root of stuff. 1 over 2 square roots of stuff. Times derivative of the stuff. This, I'm just saying here, I know I need to take this derivative. I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready. The derivative rule I need here, quotient rule. Low, d high, minus high, d low, low, low. Low, low. All right, 13, here we go. Continuing to give yourself feedback here. Sine squared of x, I know in the homework I actually put in a little clue for you. I put in a little hint, because I will tell you that sine squared of x, there's sine squared of x, there's sine of x squared, and there's sine of x, the whole thing squared. And you have to know, you gotta know what's going on. This first one is sine squared of x. The second one is sine of x squared. The angle has the exponent. Here it's the trig ratio that has the exponent. So this first one and the third one, they're equal. They're the same. So whenever I see sine squared or cosine squared or anything like that, I always think about it this way. Once we get here, does everybody see this as a chain rule?
Yes.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay. All right, so good. Number 14 is chain rule, sine of sine theta plus cosine theta. We got it? Number 15, product rule. You need to know the difference here. I'm really asking you to pay attention to notational things. Sine of theta times sine theta plus cosine theta. Product rule, derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. There's probably some clever things you could do to reduce. I wasn't too worried about reducing here. Okay, number 16 went really badly in the other class. Kevin, can you read number 16 to me? How would you read it like a mathematician?
H of x equals natural log of
Natural log of natural log of x, right? So is everybody okay? We got chain rule happening again? As soon as you hear that word of in your head, chain rule. Well, natural log of natural log, if I'm going to take the derivative, the natural log is the mama. So it's 1 over the baby times the derivative of the baby, and derivative of natural log of x, the baby, is 1 over x. Okay? And then finally, number 17, quotient rule. We got a little low, d high, minus high, d low, all over, low, low. All right, please make sure your name is on that. Leave that in the middle of the table. And there's a pile of quizzes right here that I want to pass out. Talk to you guys about. 2, 6, 10, 13, and we got 17. Who's like a Alright, so homework's in the middle of the table. And let's talk about the homework this weekend. Okay. I have never done this before in the Calculus A/B course, but what I decided to do in this unit is rather than giving you any in-class quizzes, what I wanted to do is build in more practice time. Because I know the algebra is tough, the trig is tough, we've got all these derivative rules, and you guys are making great progress. The unit test is next Friday. That is the last major grade for this 6 weeks. Some of you I know have some grades where you're like, I'm passing, but I'm not satisfied with the grade that I have that's passing. Some of you aren't quite passing yet. Next Friday's test is an important one. That's going to be the test that is going to move your grade one way or another from like, I'm happy to I'm not happy. Okay? I have no time in my schedule for you guys to actually take any in-class quizzes. So, this weekend, you have a take-home quiz. So let me talk about this, because this is filled with kindness. Filled with kindness, Jackie, I'm not lying. All right, so let's take a look at this. There's 6 multiple-choice questions. If this was an in-class quiz, you would have 18 minutes to do all 6. 1 or 2 of these are pretty straightforward. You're going to know exactly what to do. 1 or 2 of these are going to be really rough, and you're just going to be like, oh, I hope I know what I'm doing. The answers are there somewhere. Figure them out. Because this is a take-home quiz, you get to use your notes. You might want to write that down. You can use your notes. Pedro cannot bully Naum into giving up his notes. Naum can use his notes. Pedro can use his notes. Pedro would not bully Naum. Okay? You can use your notes. You may not talk about this with anyone else, and by talk I mean the electronic communication as well. If you're like, oh, we texted, that's not talking. Yeah, I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. Both of them want to be lawyers. I can debate all day long. You can use your notes. You cannot talk to anybody, text anybody. You cannot have a seance in your living room this weekend and ask Sir Isaac Newton to help you out. You cannot go online to, oh, I know, Wolfram Alpha and be like, hey, what's the derivative of this? And type it in and get the answer. You know. None of that. This is your opportunity to see how well you know the stuff and how ready you are for the test. Okay, flip over to the back. There's 1 free response question, 3 parts. This is going to push your thinking. It says 12 minutes. You can have more than 12 minutes if you need it. You can have more than 18 minutes on the multiple choice. This is due on Monday. If I don't get it on Monday, you're going to do it during lunch on Monday anyway. Except it will not be filled with love and kindness at this point. Everybody good? I want you to do this number one so that you get a sense of how much do you really understand the material and where are you struggling. If you do well, if this is something that would help your grade, it counts as a quiz grade. If it doesn't go well for you individually, I won't count it as a quiz grade. I'll just count it as like a homework grade. Everybody good? Everyone's going to do this. Everyone's going to do all the problems. Everyone's going to show me all their work. Do well, this helps you because then it becomes a quiz grade and that counts for more. Do poorly, it goes in as a homework grade. Don't do it at all, well, you'll be here Monday during lunch doing it anyway. Except for the kids in Ohio, because you can't get here on time. All right, so all that, you can put that away. If you could find in your unit guide, it's on page 23. We're going to push your thinking a little bit here. My goal over the course of the next 40 minutes is not to break you, but to push you. I want to look at derivative rules that you already know, but look at them in ways that you're not expecting. There are 8 derivative rules that you need to know. Derivative of sine of x, derivative of cosine, derivative of e to the x, derivative of e to the negative x, derivative of natural log of x. We're up to 5 that you just need to know. Derivative of tangent of x. Derivative of square root of x you need to know. Derivative of 1 over x you need to know. My expectation is that every single person in the room, especially Miss Green, who's a calculus teacher, has all of these on lockdown. You know them on sight. You don't even think about them anymore. Take a minute and talk to the person near you. Make sure you actually know all of them.
Well, sine of x is cosine of x. Cosine of x is the negative sine of x. E to the negative x, e to the negative x, negative e to the negative x. Sine of x is negative 1 over x. And equals, isn't it secant? Yeah, secant squared. Secant x. No, it's secant x squared. Yeah, secant x squared. And then, I don't know, the square root of x, I don't know.
Secant squared?
Write that down.
Secant squared of x. Or secant of x.
Square root of x is 1 over 2. And 1 over x is 1 over x. I need to take this with me.
All right, quick show of hands. How many of you guys are pretty confident you know all 8 of these on sight? 1, 2, 3.
I know 7.
You know 7 out of the 8.
7.
7 out of 8. Okay, here's the thing. It has to be 8 out of 8. I want you to just know these on sight. If you don't know them on sight, this is sign number 1. You've got some extra work to do. Make a flashcard, get a tattoo, study with a friend, whatever it is you need to do. All right, so let's get some hands from different friends. 8 different problems, 8 different rules. Once you share, you're frozen. Jackie, give me one of them.
The derivative of e to the negative x is going to be negative e to the power of negative x.
Love it. Derivative e to the negative x, negative e to the negative x. You're frozen. Goodbye. Jose.
The derivative of tan of x
Derivative, ooh, going big.
is secant squared of it.
Is secant squared of x. Nice. Pedro.
The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x.
Derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. Love it. Evelyn.
The derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x.
Derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. Love it. Beto.
Derivative of e of x is e of x.
Yeah, don't push yourself too hard here, son. Derivative of e to the x is e to the x. Good. Roberto.
Derivative of natural log of x is 1 over x.
Derivative of natural log of x is 1 over x. Got 2 more. Kaylin, get in there.
Derivative, so 1 over x is 1 over x squared.
Oh.
Negative 1 over x squared.
Negative 1 over x squared. And if you're not sure, rewrite 1 over x as x to the negative 1. Bring that power down, reduce the power by 1. Give it to me, last one.
1 over 2 square root of x.
1 over 2 square roots of x. These are the 8. I need you to know them on sight. Okay, I will tell you there will not be one single question on the test or the quiz that is just going to be like, hey, what's the derivative of cosine of x? None of them. Not a single one. This just shows me you know some stuff. Now, speaking of stuff, let's talk about my friend Miss Blakely at East End here. Blakely at East End, gosh, she is a big fan of teaching her students how to do problems like that. The derivative of e, how would I read this?
E to the
E to the,
F of x.
don't say e to f of x.
The power
E to the power of, oh my god, you heard it, e to the power of chain rule. What's the derivative of e to the power of f of x? E to the power of f of x. The exponent doesn't change. You take the derivative of the mama, but you leave her baby alone. And then?
times the derivative of the baby.
Times the derivative of f, which is f prime of x. Good. All right, let's get some hands on this one. How about derivative of natural log of f of x? Take a minute, take a couple of seconds. Take a couple seconds. Derivative natural log of f of x. Jackie, what do you got for me? 1 over f of x, because the derivative of natural log is 1 over, yeah?
Yep, times f prime of x.
Times f prime of x. Everybody okay?
Yes.
All right, one more, and then you guys are going to get some practice. Okay, derivative sine of f of x. Raise your hand when you get it. Derivative sine of f of x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding at 6. Hoping for a little more. 1. Thanks for playing with me on my birthday. I appreciate it. What's the derivative going to be? Cosine of what? They're ready to attack. Cosine of f of x
Times the f prime of x.
times f prime of x. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Now here comes the push. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, I want you guys to focus on the problems on page 24. On 24, we're going in a slightly different order. Don't worry, I have a master's degree and a plan. Okay, there are 6 problems. I'm putting 10 minutes on the clock. Your goal working in your team is to get as many of these as you can in the 10 minutes. You can't possibly be unread. You haven't even done any thinking yet, Juan. Okay, the person who likes me the most is the one who's in control of the cups. Tough choice here, I know. So you're like, none of us like you. What do we do? The person who dislikes me the least is the same as the person who likes me the most.
Isaiah, bro, he comes every day.
Okay. Carlos, I know you're going to be in control of the cups there. All right, 10 minutes. Show me what you can do. These are some nasty questions. This is what I'm putting on the test. Hi, Evelyn. Oh, you're killing me. Can you get 1 or 2 of these done first?
Wait, which question are we doing?
Oh, okay.
24. You already started without us.
I got negative 9.
Kaylin, you're on the volleyball team. Ashley, you're on the volleyball team. And Delia's on the volleyball
Not on the team. I'm the manager.
team. Tonight's senior.
Oh, I won't be there either. I have to go to church.
I love going to senior night. I love doing that.
You'll be there for basketball though.
I'll try. We'll see.
I have to go to church.
There's some stuff here I like and some stuff here I don't like. Okay, how would you read this problem to me?
Cosine of
Cosine of,
f of x, right?
which means chain rule.
That's it, right?
Is it right?
There's stuff here that I like and stuff here I don't like.
So it's 1 over
You didn't finish.
I know.
Okay. I love your first part. Derivative of cosine of f of x, negative sine of f of x.
You leave the first alone, so you're just supposed to write it like you leave this alone, so you should just go close to it, and then you multiply by the derivative.
But what do you do here? Okay, so
No, he said your first is fine. No, you didn't. He didn't.
Nice, nice, nice. Love it.
No, but that's here. You're supposed to multiply by the
Nice.
derivative.
so then
Oh,
after
you
that,
guys
what do I
are
do?
all here. Everyone.
It's the root of the first times the second, and then
Let's go.
plus the second.
And then you
And then you multiply by a negative. So this is the derivative.
It's 1 over,
the baby.
Yeah. Times sine of x, and then
Ooh, it's like flip. Okay, let's try.
see how it's ordered.
Jackie like no.
Ooh, I'm gonna do number 5. That looks really good. It's gonna be secant square root of x
Not negative sine.
times
no, 1 over square root of x times sine of x.
not f of x times f prime of x. By
Sine,
secant, that's easy.
So wouldn't you have to do chain rule
Secant
for
square root of x. Oh, that's x. And then times f prime of x.
Mr. D, would you also do chain rule right here? Yeah, you would simplify the sign.
Alright, spoiler alert. Here comes negative sine of f of x times f prime of x plus f prime of cosine of x times negative sine of x is the first one.
Times negative sign?
Times negative sine because it's chain rule. You're taking the derivative of f, leaving the cosine alone, times the derivative of the cosine. How many of you guys honestly have the first one right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. We're in a good place. Okay, number 2. I want to interrupt just a little bit. Number 2. Beto, can you read that one for me?
H of x equals the natural log of.
Oh, God, so good. Natural log of. Alrighty, chain rule. Keep going.
Square root of x times sine of.
Man, we're all over the place. Okay, so I heard time. So we got product rule and sine of. We get a chain rule. Is everybody okay?
Yes.
Chain rule, product rule, and a chain rule just to end it off. Just to finish it off. So let's do this one together. H prime. Derivative of natural log of stuff
1 over stuff.
is 1 over stuff. And I gotta tell you, already, you're in my heart. You're possibly earning some points. You know, you're like, oh, 1 over the stuff. Now, I don't think anybody in the room, and I'm gonna put myself and Miss Green in the category, I don't think any of us should be doing the chain rule and trying to tackle the product rule at the same time. I would stay away from that. Instead of like, all right, 1 over stuff times, what am I supposed to do next?
Derivative of the
Derivative. I'm just going to write it. Derivative of the stuff. Square root of x times sine of f of x. And I guarantee you on the test, free response, you've earned the first point. You are showing me you know how to find derivative of natural log and you understand chain rule. Are we done?
No.
Of course not. Of course we're not done. Now you got to come back and I need to hear some product rule stuff here. Product rule says derivative of the first part. That's easy. What's the derivative of the first part?
1 over 2.
1 over 2 square roots of x times, leave that guy alone, plus, leave the first one alone, times derivative of the second part, and I think we all know the derivative of the second part. Cos of f of x times f prime of x. All that crazy is multiplied by 1 over square root of x sine of f of x. We did use the chain rule for finding the derivative of sine of f of x. It's cosine of f of x times the derivative of what's on the inside. Are we okay?
Yes.
Anybody want to see a better way to do that?
Yes.
Okay, Kaylin wants to see it. Everybody else is turned away. Keep going. For those of you that want to see a better way, I'm going to rewrite this guy just down here. Bad board planning. It's okay. Okay, h of x is equal to the natural log of the square root of x times the sine of f of x. I wish I had done this with the last class because I just about broke them when we did this. Oh good, Evelyn's back. I think everybody saw chain rule, product rule, and you did the calculus first. There's some algebra that you could do first. Some pre-calculus even that Mr. Harper is teaching to the pre-calculus kids this week and next week. There's a property of logs that you can use when you have two things being multiplied together. Anybody remember it? Natural log when you're multiplying two things together. Abraham's giving his little brain a tap. He's like, come on, smarticle particles, where are you? Natural log of two things being multiplied. Here comes a little hint. The natural, I just heard it. The natural log of a product of A times B is the same as natural log of A plus the natural log of B. Meaning you can rewrite this as the natural log of the square root of x plus the natural log of sine of f of x. And you might think, well gosh, isn't that worse? What's the derivative now? Derivative of natural log of square root of x is 1 over the square root of x. Don't stop there. Natural log of square root of x is 1 over the square root of x times the derivative of this guy, which is 1 over 2 square roots of x plus derivative of natural log of sine of f of x, 1 over sine of f of x times the derivative over here, cosine of f of x times f prime of x. And if I haven't blown your minds yet, Eric, you okay there? You look like you're having prayer time. Now I'm going to hide this from you on the multiple choice.
1 over 2x. Cos f of x over 3
Okay, Juan, what is it that you're saying?
cos f of x over sine f of x.
Cosine f of x times 1 over sine of f of x is the same as cosine of f of x over sine of f of x? Cosine over sine is none of the things I've heard so far. Sine over cosine would be tangent. Cosine over sine, cotangent. So cotan f of x plus, there's some stuff here.
1 over 2 square root of x squared.
Now, you could start off by saying 1 over 2 times square root of x squared, square root of x, and square root of x is square root of x squared. But let's go better than that. Square root of x squared
X.
is just x. Wow. This guy here is a perfectly good free response answer. This one down here is how I will, not might, will hide it from you on the multiple choice. All right, take about 6 more minutes, see what you can do. You want to take a picture of me on my birthday? I'll even sign it. I really wish I had done that problem on the screen in the second period. Yes, you do.
so beautiful.
That's also why I'm filming here.
What he say?
The model problem on the front.
I'm still doing number 3.
I'm about to have a heart attack.
If prime H
His product.
Indeed, product and chain.
You're gonna be here Lord lunch.
Yep.
9-9.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I thought I had numbers here.
It's because I was thinking of Carlos.
Trata de andar ayer con este.
Yeah, you want some sour chicken? That's what I do.
Why use one chain rule? You have two. I'm not sure if that's right. One's gone. Okay.
Want to set him
Wait from me.
I want to be careful.
Dile que te espere.
And there's a chain rule. One, you've got the quiz, right?
Is this right? You're bad.
You're close, but not quite.
I have to take the chain rule of the.
Indeed, you do. Love it. Help the friends. Ashley, stay with me. Don't go into the light.
I'm stretching.
So then I would have to just multiply it by f prime with 2h, right? Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay, for any of the folks that are not making good progress on number 3, everybody seems pretty convinced that there's product rule. So f prime times e to the f of x squared plus 1. We all seem pretty good there. Plus f of x times the derivative of e to the power of f of x squared plus 1. My best advice is use that derivative notation. Use that, Jesus, to tell me, like, I know I need to take the derivative, I'm just not ready to do this right now. Is everybody okay up to here so far? So now the question is, what's the derivative of e to the power of f of x squared plus 1? I heard of here. And there. It's a double. The derivative of e to the power of stuff is e to the power of the same stuff. The exponent doesn't change. Now what? Now I multiply with the derivative of the exponent, which is f prime of x squared plus 1 times the derivative of what's on the inside. Pedro, you got it? All right, looking good, sir. So f prime of x times e to the f of x squared plus 1 plus f of x times all that. Keep going. I'm really interested in number 4 and number 5, then I'm going to push your brain so hard. I'm going to hear somebody snap.
Hard snap.
Reading it is a good thing. I need to pick up some extra hard problems for you. Oh, that was 10 minutes of TV time back then.
The other period is right now.
Oh, another 10 minutes over there too. We went a whole day in the DeRozier house yesterday with no teeth sucking. I am winning. You can suck your teeth all you want.
Is this some?
Okay.
Oh,
Is it a product? What is this?
Oh my God, it's the best birthday present ever. I just heard Carlos say F of square root of X. Guess what?
Quotient.
Quotient? And now a gift I want to return. Quotient rule. K prime, take the derivative of the outside. F prime. F of the square root of X.
Oh, that's
I had it right though, Chima.
Okay. Times derivative of F of square root of X is F prime of square root of X. Times 1 over 2 square roots of X. Curious, honest hands, how many of you guys got that? That's a really hard question. Nice. Number 5, I hope is easy.
Yeah.
Derivative tangent of F of X. You just need to know what derivative tangent is. Secant squared of F of X
Times F prime of X.
times F prime of X. All right. Now I really want to push you. Number 6. Secant of F of X squared. I'm not gonna talk to anybody for the next 2 minutes. See what you can do. Michaela, are you able to see that trig identities poster from where you are?
Secant.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Secant is close over sine. Secant is close over sine.
Secant is not on the list of derivatives I would expect you to know. There are other options.
Oh no, that's squared.
The derivative of secant.
Oh, Evelyn's got it.
What is it?
Beto's got it. Eric wants it. Naoom's got it and won't share it. Jose's going to copy it off somebody near him.
So then,
So secant squared is 1 over
1
cosine squared?
to negative cosine.
No, it's not squared. It's just
Right? No, what I'm saying is that.
I just confused.
All right, friends. Walking around, I saw at least half of the folks that after a nice little hint of check out the poster said, wait, secant is 1 over cosine. Now I'm seeing some confusion though. I'm seeing a lot of like secant is 1 over cos and then it's next to f of x squared. The f of x squared is the angle. It's what you're taking secant of. So when you rewrite secant as 1 over cosine, the f of x squared goes to the denominator with the cosine. Are we okay? Mm-hmm. So here's my question. There's always 2 questions here. Number 1, is that legal? Yeah. Is it legal to do this? Yeah. Trig identity, of course. Is it better?
Yeah.
Is that better than what you started with?
No.
Yes.
Kevin, why is this better? What can you do now that you couldn't do before? One more time. 1 over cosine of f of x squared. Why is this better to work with than the secant? If you don't know why it's better, then you're not in a better place. What could you use now to find the derivative? Carlos, what could you do? It's a quotient rule problem. You, geez, okay. Whoa. 1 over the cosine of f of x squared, you know the quotient rule. You can use the quotient rule and you know how to find derivative of cosine. Take a minute completely on your own, go find that derivative for me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, right now we're not taking a derivative, we're just rewriting it. No calculus was used. Don't look up, don't look up. Okay, another dead marker. 2 markers in right today.
I didn't read it. I did too, baby. I had to go copy it. No. I did a lot of things last Friday. I did that and then I did.
All right, take a peek when you think you got it.
Could you just leave it?
Low, D high, minus high, D low. I need the chain rule here. All over low, low. Honestly, how many of you guys had that? Or were close to getting there? Nice. Free response. Jesus, full points coming your way. Full points. Now I'm going to put it on the multiple choice. Yep. And I will hide this from you. I will hide this answer from you, and I'm curious if anybody sees it.
You should just cancel out the course.
Jose, give everybody a second. Give everybody a second. Legal things that I can do to hide this from you. Raise your hand when you think you see something. Even something small. Even something small. I got 1. I know I get 2 up front. I think I got 3 and 4 in process. What do you see, Jose? Oh, are you wanting to cancel down here, these guys? That is the #1 mistake that people keep making. You're forgetting about this negative sign here. It keeps that whole numerator together. It's like the other day if I said, hey, what's 2 plus 3 divided by 2? And you said, oh yeah, I'm going to cancel out the 2s. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Kaylin, what do you see?
Where it says cos of f of x squared times 0, wouldn't it be 0 because it doesn't matter what number you plug in, it's still 0?
Doesn't matter what this is, I'm multiplying by 0, so for sure, 0. Get it out of there. What else am I going to do? What else am I going to do? Some small stuff. Small stuff here. Jose, what do you see? Not 2 cos squared of, no. It's in the numerator. It's really small. I would hope it's obvious. It's not obvious. I'm dying here. I'm dying here on camera. On my 45th birthday, I'm dying. That -1 is being multiplied with the negative sign of f of x squared. Thank you, Kaylin, for being frustrated on my behalf. Sine of f of x squared times f prime of x squared times 2x over cosine of f of x squared squared. Oh, okay. Friends are okay? All right, we got 8 minutes left. I want to see if I can break you. Okay, so I would say these questions, these are like medium to hard level questions on the exam. If you can do these, you're in a good place. And we've made a lot of progress. If you flip back to page 23, I know we're going in a strange order, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. 1 minute, completely on your own. Problem number 1, no help from anybody. Yeah?
That's all it is.
Oh, you're killing me. Can you get through this one first? I'm also in a place that if I ignore you long enough, it'll take you over to your passing period. I play that game with Ashley all the time.
That was the one.
Spray painted your hair. Okay, just check. Teenagers do all the strangest things. Things are looking good. Miss Green's doing quite well. Here comes a little nudge for anybody that's stuck. Find the derivative of g of x equals x squared f of 1 over x. What's the operation that's happening there?
Product.
X squared times, so you best be thinking product rule, but then f of 1 over x, chain rule. So I saw this on a bunch of papers. G prime, let's do product rule first. Derivative of the first, leave the second alone, plus the first. Now be careful, I need the derivative of f of 1 over x. This is f prime of 1 over x times the derivative on the inside, negative 1 over x squared. How many of you guys honestly have this as your answer? 1, 2, there are some folks in process. Again, great free response answer. All the points in free response. And now I hide it from you in the multiple choice. How do I hide this one? I am mean. I will hide this. Last class didn't see it. Where?
Combine the x squared times the negative 1 over x squared.
X squared times all this stuff times all this stuff, right? I'm multiplying all three of these things together. And multiplication order doesn't matter, right? 2 times 3 times 4. 2 times 3 is 6 times 4 is 24. 2 times 4 is 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 4 is 12 times 2, 24. We get it?
Yes.
X squared times f prime of 1 over x times negative 1 over x squared. Is there a smart way to multiply that's going to get you somewhere? The x squared times negative 1 over x squared is going to be what?
Negative 1.
It's just negative 1. So I don't know the best way to write that, but like this guy here combined with this guy here is negative 1. So you've got 2x times f of 1 over x minus f prime of 1 over x. That's g prime. That is awesome. All right, now I really want to push you. Let's go back over to page 24. Problem number 4. I'm just gonna let this one sink in for a little bit.
Oh, this one.
Problem number 4. Take a minute, percolate on this, talk to the friends near you, pray for inspiration, see what you can do.
Number 4. My bad.
Yeah.
The top one.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Miss Green's really excited because she loves absolute value functions. So here's the graph of f. H of x is equal to e to the f of x plus pi. Michaela's having flashbacks. I need h prime of 1 and h prime of 4. I will tell you there are lots of points available for even getting a good start here. You need h prime of 1 and h prime of 4. So where do you start? You've got to find h prime of x, and I would hope everybody can find h prime of x pretty quickly. E to the power of f of x plus pi. So what's that going to be? E to the power of all that stuff, right? So the derivative is e to the power of f of x plus pi, because that exponent doesn't change, times f prime of x. Honestly, probably worth 2 points. Check, check. Okay. Now I need h prime of 1, and I know we're running low on time. h prime of 1, you're just going to plug in 1. E to the f of 1 plus pi times f prime of 1. I need f of 1. Where's f of 1 coming from?
You have to find the derivative of f.
Hold on, f of 1.
Oh, you plug
F
it
of
into the
1.
equation.
You could plug it into the equation.
Or you can look on the graph.
Or you could, the other thing you could do, you were given the graph for a reason. What's f of 1? F of 1 is that this guy right here? 3. So this is e to the 3 plus pi, stay with me just for a second, it's totally worth it, times f prime of 1. F prime of 1. I want the derivative of f at 1. And I think Miss Green was a little freaked out earlier, like, wait, I don't know how to take the derivative of this. You have the graph. Michaela?
So you use the derivative of the slope of the tangent line, so you use the slope at the point.
Derivative means slope of the tangent line. What's the slope of the tangent line at 1?
0.
0 because you have a horizontal tangent line. F prime of 1 is equal to 0. So you have e to the 3 plus pi times 0, which is 0. Done. If we had one more moment, if you could find h prime of 4, you do the whole thing all over again. E to the f of 4 plus pi times f prime of 4, but f prime of 4. What do we know about f prime of 4? F prime of 4. You look at the graph.
Cusp.
It's a cusp point. What about the derivative? It does not exist. See you guys later. Bye.